Yes, finally, time to talk about The Incredibles. Here's the plot in a nutshell. Superhero going through midlife crisis, the end. Now let's talk about the movie. Holy sheep testicles, I love this movie. And no, I don't really know what that means, but I really am excited to talk about this movie. First of all, from a technical aspect, this movie has a lot to get done. Look at the stars of all the other Pixar movies. Monsters, insects, and toys. But The Incredibles stars human people. And you may not realize this, but we see people every single day, whether it's out at work or on TV or just out on the street. So when we look at artificial people like the one in Incredibles, if they don't move exactly like real people do, our subconscious is going to notice that immediately and mentally check out of the movie. Thankfully though, The Incredibles looks, well, incredible. Ba-dum-bum, psh. Personally for me, I really love how the hair looks in the movie. I don't know if you guys realize this, but whether it's in computers or with hand-drawn animation, hair is one of the most difficult things to animate properly.
Violet has this long, black, dark hair, which has to move when she moves and move believably.
Long hair is really hard. What really happens is you have millions of hairs that are interacting with each other, and that's what gives it its shape. We tried a lot of things that really didn't work and just looked silly.
It just brought the production to its knees for a long time, where we kept trying and kept trying. Finally just sat across the table and she said, well, John, I got to tell you, long hair is theoretical at this point. Whoa, time out, theoretical? The movie comes out in less than a year.
And when we finally figured out what the problem was, it was fine.
They pulled it off. It's beautiful. I mean, her hair moves in a way that we never thought would be possible. And, pop the champagne corks.
The Incredibles also has my favorite soundtrack of any of the Pixar films. I love the 60s style music to it. To me though, what sells The Incredibles is the fantastic writing. I think the parts of the movie where this is strongest is when the family is having verbal fights with each other.
We have steak? Pasta? What are you hungry for?
Tony Ridinger.
Shut up.
Well, you are.
I said shut up, you little insect.
Oh, she is.
Do not shout at the table. Honey?
Kids, listen to your mother.
Taking away from the obvious superhero element, these feel like real fights that families actually have, and the combination of the written dialogue with the voice performances really takes the words off the pages and really helps sell the characters. And again, the way the voice performers play off of each other is brilliant. This movie is ripe with memorable lines that you'll quote and people will know immediately what you're talking about.
You sly dog! You got me monologuing! I can't believe.
And I really like the kid characters, and trust me, that's not a sentence you'll hear me saying very often either. I like how they managed to make Dash understandable, but still managed to keep that spark of rebel in him. When we first meet him, he's getting in trouble at the principal's office, but it's not because he's a bad kid, he's just acting out because he's going through a little bit of a tough time right now. I mean, he's a kid that has superpowers and he has to somehow keep that under wraps. That can't be easy. All he really needs is a good outlet. And the thing is that he wants a good outlet. He knows that. He wants to go out for sports so he can channel his power. But it's a tricky situation and he's just acting out a little bit. It's understandable. And I like how everyone's superpower is kind of a statement on their personality. Like Violet's shy and introverted, and her power of invisibility helps to complement that. It's a nice visual medium. I also really like the villain. I won't say too much if you haven't seen this movie before. But as long as we're talking about the villain, we need to talk about how dark this movie really is.
Remember the bad guys on those shows you used to watch on Saturday mornings? Well, these guys are not like those guys. They won't exercise restraint because you're children. They will kill you if they get the chance. Do not give them that chance.
Here's a fun fact in case you didn't know it. This movie's PG. All the other ones have been G so far. I mean, hell, even Disney's traditionally animated stuff was G-rated. And there were some suggestive moments in those ones, too. The Incredibles managed to bump it up to a PG rating, and rightfully so, because I'm not kidding, people die left and right in this movie. There is a seriously high body count. I mean, just watch this scene. Yeah, those guys are dead. Yep, he's dead too. Or at the very least, serious brain damage. And what about the dying superheroes montage? Now, personally, I'm fine with all this. Seriously, kids aren't stupid unless you talk to them like they're stupid, in which case they're gonna grow up to be, you guessed it, stupid. This is just a really good way of appealing to all audiences, by actually addressing all audiences. And it's not violent just for the sake of being violent. Nothing felt too out of place. Well, except for one part at the end, but I'm not gonna spoil that part either. It's not like it shows any of the characters in any real explicit pain or anything. Besides, you can show the same image or movie to a child and an adult, and they're gonna see two totally different things.
That flag is racist because a black man is being hung by white people.
We didn't really see it that way.
But that's a black man up there.
Yeah, but the color of someone's skin doesn't matter.
Well, of course it matters when... Oh my God. All this time I thought these little crackers had turned racist, when actually they were so not racist that they didn't even make a separation of black and white to begin with. All they saw when they looked at that flag was 5 people.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. This is a family movie, and there's a difference between that and a baby's movie. A baby's movie would be something like the Smurfs or Garfield or the Spy Kids movies. They're things that only kids are gonna laugh at, and everyone else is just gonna roll their eyes at how stupid it is. It's also something that I can't imagine the makers of the movie being very proud of. Now, a family movie like The Incredibles is something that I can imagine the filmmakers being very, very proud of. And rightfully so. The Incredibles won an Academy Award for Best Animated Feature. So, final thoughts? Well, it's kind of a given that this is one of my favorite Pixar films. In fact, it could be my favorite one. The Incredibles is a very rare top-to-bottom masterpiece. It's fun, it's fast, it's got great storytelling, wonderful animation, and all the backlash that it got for being too violent for kids or whatever was bullshit and totally unwarranted. But unfortunately, it did get backlash, and I think that that's a big reason why the next Pixar movie turned out the way it did.